How sweet the sound.
As usual, just find a comfortable seat. Make yourself as comfortable as possible. Allow your chest to rise. Allow the lift to happen from right in the center of the chest. Allow the head to be nice and soft, floating on the shoulders. Feel the lift from here. Feel the lengthening from the tailbone. Find a length lifting from the chest, just a gentle. This is nothing. It's like a helium balloon tied right to your chest here. So allow the chest to lift, and that allows the shoulders to relax back. Okay. Oh, if you really just try to feel the space between the tail and the chest. Sometimes I give a cue for the crown of the head. Sometimes that's confusing for people. Just let the head be and relax the jaw. It'll be fine. But the space is here. If you feel a lift from this part of the chest, the shoulders naturally come back. They naturally come into their spot. And everyone's going to have a spot for their shoulders. So that's kind of what we're looking for, is just feel a little lift from the chest and the pelvis heavy. So it doesn't really feel like we're lifting our body. We're just allowing it to find that equilibrium where our weight is balanced right on our sits bones. We begin with an invocation of Ganesha. Actually, let's do a few ohms. Let's just go on a few times. Now we'll invoke Ganesha, the remover of obstacles. Now we'll invoke the Guru in the form of Shiva. Shiva is Yogeshwara, the Lord of Yoga. practice out of love for myself, to know the truth for the benefit of all beings. Namo Vaha Sadavaha Swagatam Sadavaha. Welcome all you good and beautiful people, and may you find blessings upon your path. Namo Vaha. All right, well, welcome. Good morning. Salutations to all the yogis and wisdom masters. A little something for my throat here. I'm going to slide this out of the way. So today we're going to actually do something a little different. We're going to work towards our yoga pose. But let's begin on our back. Let's find a nice comfortable place. Stretched out, legs a little wide, arms to the side, palms up, palms down. Just allow yourself to begin to release, let go. Allow your body to become a little heavier as your awareness begins to come to the central channel. Right down the center of your torso, from the crown of the head to the pelvic floor. And imagine now, this is just a very small sliver, a hollow golden tubule. You can almost think of it as a fiber optic, because it has a bit of flex and bend and mold to that center to conform to the ever-changing center of our body. And this is the channel of the subtle body. Try to experience this entire practice from within this channel, as if there were a stream of golden white light coming in to that fiber from the crown of the head. And this light is expanding within us. And it's indeed the light that is giving us our shape and our form. And allow us to begin to be carried by the light through the central channel of awareness. Just ride the light of awareness through the practice, softening, feeling the breath, feeling how the breath affects your central channel. Allow your head to completely relax, your jaws to relax, your eyes to kind of sink down into your skull. Just bring your awareness to your eyeballs becoming heavier. And every time we sprinkle a droplet of awareness somewhere in our body, it ripples. We can feel the ripples of that awareness from the center point. So begin to notice the ripples of awareness as I draw your attention to the heels of your feet, fully embodying the heels of your feet, your full awareness, beginning as a seed, blossoming out, feeling it all the way through your body. Begin to recognize the connection between the bottom of your feet and your ankles, your knees, your hip joints. Begin to feel that length from the heel to the hip joint as one line. One line on the right, one line on the left. Just begin to press down. Pick a heel, pick any heel, and just allow it to become a little bit heavier. Just barely at all, just organizing to press the heel into the floor. And notice how the opposite heel responds. See if you can feel the ripple all the way through from the awareness of one heel to the other. And then let that go, and bringing awareness to the back of your head. Just bringing a little awareness to your earlobes now. Your earlobes and your shoulder points. Just begin to feel, not measuring in any particular way, but just feel if the distance between your left earlobe and the left shoulder point is about the same as the right, or do they feel different in some way? Bring your awareness to the back of the opposite heel from just a moment ago. Full awareness, awareness of allowing that heel to become heavier. Noticing the ripple through the ankle, the knee, the pelvis, maybe all the way to the opposite heel, but see if your head is responding. Allow a heel to become heavier, and allow your awareness to immediately come to the back of your head. You can feel the propagation of energy through your legs, up your spine, and somehow creating a sensation in the way your head lies on the floor. And try that with the other heel. So the awareness into the heel is a seed, and the awareness allows the heel to interact with the floor in a different way. See if you can feel that interaction up that leg all the way to the back of your head. As we begin to sense these roots, these lines of force, these lines of prana, or nadis, as they may be called. These will be different for every individual. The sensation, the lines of sensation through our body, the lines of potentiation, the lines that allow intention to become action. These are subtle lines. The more quiet we become, the more we focus our awareness, the louder they become. They don't become louder, everything else becomes a little more quiet. Now let's slowly, in some way, I'll direct you into a seated position. So why don't we just bring both knees to standing, both legs to standing, just for a moment. Actually, why don't we do a little bit of work just here? Why don't we just give ourselves a few moments to feel the feet on the floor. We're not going to do much feet on the floor in this class, so let's take this opportunity to feel the only part of our body that's been organized to make intimate contact with the earth. Reflexology, this notion of sensations in the feet are reflections of the body as a whole, different parts of the feet. And there's a lot of truth to that. There's certainly truth to the fact that if someone presses on your feet in a certain way, you can feel it in your body in a certain way, and that's fairly reproducible from individual to individual. Begin to feel into your own feet. Feel how you organize your intimate contact with the earth. Bring your awareness to bringing a little more weight into the feet. And then let that go. Just organize to bring weight into the feet. Feel that line of energy. There's lines of energy. What happens in the knee? Maybe if you feel the feet becoming heavier, maybe it feels like the knees coming closer to the sky. Just in the organization, just bringing the awareness to that movement actually prepares the muscle fibers for that movement. They begin to move. They begin to contract a little bit. Sense into that. You can feel the knee lift towards the sky as the feet become heavier. See if you can feel as the knee lifts, maybe the femur pulls the hip joint along. As we relax, as we try to keep from that happening. Maybe you can feel the pelvis, the bottom of the pelvis, the tail begin to come towards the sky, the top of the pelvis, the back of the pelvis come more to the floor. Softly bringing your awareness to this bottom of the feet to become heavier and then releasing. Feel into the propagation of the energy all the way up the spine. We're going to be working on this most of the day, the propagation of the energy through the spine. Feel it into the jaw, feel it into the neck and the back of the head. Relax your neck, your shoulders. Notice that your head moves with your pelvis. It may move differently for you than for me, but we habituate our movement patterns and things feel right for us until we begin to examine those a little more closely. As we begin to do a deep study of the movement of our body. Not somebody on Pinterest or Facebook or something like that that spent hours getting into some shape and will probably be crippled by the time they're 50. That's not knowing your body. That's trying to control your body. That's your ego in charge. And now, begin to bring the right arm up overhead. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to go all the way above the head, but just out to the side. Maybe even to the side of the body. Begin to allow both knees to begin to come to the right. Begin to bring the left arm over the right arm. Begin to extend the left leg. Bring your head down to the floor and come up to a seated position with the right leg in front of you and the left leg behind. So this is side seating pose. We have names for this. And this will be a starting point for us today. So just walk your hands a little bit forward. Find a comfortable place here. Right? So it's really not comfortable for a lot of people to be sitting up. It's just not. We're going to be working on that. It happens. It'll come. Walk your hands out. I'm totally different on one side than the other side. One side I'm really comfortable, the other side I'm in agony. So it's just the way we habituate our body, and it may never change. It's always going to be different probably, but I'll be able to bear it, right? I'll be able to move. Just walk your hands out and walk them back. Keep your elbows straight. So from the shoulders, draw one hand back and keep the hand on the floor. Draw it back, shoulders straight. The elbows straight, and use the tactile sensation on the floor. You can even use the opposite hand to draw one hand back. Right? So going forward, press one hand forward, draw the other hand back a little bit. So I'm moving my left hand forward, drawing my right hand back. Now I'm going to begin to slide my right hand forward, feeling the earth. I'm going to draw the right hand back to help the right shoulder come forward. Draw the left shoulder back. So this is shoulders bringing us forward. And you can just think about pushing one hand forward and forget the other hand, pushing the other hand forward. But when you bring the hands in an opposite action, it brings the shoulders in an opposite action. And it's just the slightest bit of energy that we're using here. And we can even just slide both hands forward, so just allow both hands to slide. You're on a great floor if you've got like a a piece of blanket or a towel or something that you can slide forward with your hands and slide back. It's a very different sensation. You have to be able to stop your body from going after you're sliding forward. So it's a different type of engagement in the body. We're just going forward and back. Maybe you can begin to go a little bit in one direction. Maybe off to the right side a little bit. Just a little bit. Slow and easy, mindful. Begin to feel the energy from your hands propagating through your arms into your shoulders and into your spine. Try to allow your spine to stay more or less erect. So I'm not really folding myself forward here. I'm not rounding the spine so much. I'm more or less just hinging at the pelvis. Right? This is a movement coming forward that we can decompose into different types of movement. One is we can just keep moving off to the right, maybe just a little bit more. Easy and slowly. If it feels good to you, you can even bring your elbows down to the ground and slide your elbows back and forth now. So the movement is not quite as extreme at the upper body. You can slide your elbows and your hands on the floor a little bit forward, a little bit back. Maybe you can start taking your left hand and bringing that forward as the right hand goes off to the side. You can keep the elbows on the ground. Just start exploring this space slowly and easily, never bringing your body into a place of discomfort. Making sure that we're staying in that nice, easy movement. Why don't we go ahead and take a break? Why don't we go ahead and just swing the legs forward. You might be getting tired of having the knees like that. Swing the legs forward. Let's just bounce the knees up and down a little bit. This is really bad form in India. I have the soles of my feet pointing at you. Really bad form. It's not something you should be doing in a yoga class, is pointing your feet at anyone. But we're in the West. Just bounce them up and down. Let's go to the other side now. Okay, so let's bring the right foot behind, the left foot in front. See, on this, I can sit here all day like this. All day. The other side, agony. It's just pure agony. Yeah. Everybody's going to be different. We live a different, we have a whole different history. So we have to respect that. Right? Just because someone else can do that doesn't mean you're going to ever be able to do it, and let it go, right? Release that attachment. And that's the problem with modern yoga is people get attached to these shapes like there's significance to them, like it means something, and it doesn't. The whole object is to detach from that, is to let that go. So let's once again start with the walking of the hands. Try to relax, allow the spine to be long. Feel the weight in the pelvis. So we're not trying to bring the weight into the arms. That's part of the sliding. We're using the energy from the big muscles, and the shoulders are just, and the arms are just along for the ride, right? Pretty much. So that's the sensation we want. It's going to be different on one side than the other. Just start with walking the hands from the shoulders. Just walk the hands out and back first, and then we'll worry about that oppositional movement. Just slow. You can even turn your fingers out. The more variation that we can do with any kind of movement, you can turn your fingers in a few times. Any variation, as long as we bring the awareness onto how that changes something, how that's different. And we can bring that awareness to the way we make contact with the floor. We can bring that awareness to where our head is in space. And then if you can, when you're out, try it when you're out. Press the left hand forward. Right, and notice how as you press the left hand forward, the left shoulder wants to go, and the right shoulder will bring you back. Bring that right hand back. And now press the right hand forward, but don't let it go forward, and that'll bring the left shoulder back in the left hand. And so we're drawing back by pressing forward. And then try going forward with the opposite movement. So whichever hand you want to bring forward, allow the opposite hand to pull back so that the hand that you want to go forward just naturally slides forward. Try to relax as much as you can into your pelvis. Try to allow your back to be long. Don't try to get length on this. We're going for sensation. You see me going way out there. Don't. It's in the sensation. It's this hinging movement that we really want to pay attention to. It's the lengthening of the lower back. We're coming forward, we're walking forward, we're helping to support, but we are engaged in the lower back to keep us from falling over. So this is a pandiculation. Okay, we want to allow all the back, the glutes all the way up the back. We want that whole thing to lengthen as a hinge. We want to feel that length. We can also lengthen this way. That's not what we're looking for right now. And then you can start to come out to the side a little bit, walking to the side. Just exploring your space. And your space probably won't look like my space of exploration. Slow and aware. And I would encourage you to actually visualize, close your eyes and visualize what your next movement is going to be. Visualize how, and visualize as kind of feel, sense in a non-verbal way, how it's going to feel to the movement, and then move it. Feel the movement before the movement. Relax where you can. Relax your jaw, relax your eyes. Continue that hinging movement off to the side. We can separate the arms. See how that feels. Allow the body to kind of oscillate from side to side through this. Notice how you're making contact with the floor. How are we keeping that contact? Are we bringing the weight into the shoulders, or are we keeping the weight back? Now why don't we come onto our back for a few minutes here and just extend the legs, feel into our body, come onto our back and just relax. We're going to take this a little bit deeper now. Go ahead and onto your back, James. I don't have to go on my back, I'm teaching.
Just noticing your cat.
Oh yeah, well we got dogs laying around here and everything. The whole menagerie's here in the morning. In the evening we try to keep them away. They howl at night. Cat, get off my... Look at the cats playing the damn harmonium. You can't squeeze it, though. You better not get on that harmonium.
I'm trying to get a picture of that.
So why don't you roll back up so you can bring... I do that in the first place. I guess I had the right leg in front to begin. So let's come back to this right leg in front. So now we're going to bring a little bit of extra to this. Why don't we start to walk out over the right knee, but as we walk out over the right knee, begin to extend the left leg back. And then when you come back, bring the leg in. Once again, try to allow the leg to slide. So we want to feel that gentle resistance as we walk the hands out and slide back. So you probably are getting an idea of where we're going here, right? In a yoga pose. And this is really the only way to do it. Pigeon pose is not a safe pose for like 80% of people. To just get into pigeon. It is not a good thing. And I love the fact that people call it a hip opener. Anytime you move your leg, it's a hip opener. It's a ball joint. Any way you move it, the other side's, if you move it one way, one side's opening, one side's closing. No matter what you do. There is no such thing as a total hip opener. So this actually works the entire hip opening rather than just one spot of it. We begin to slowly work our body into this. And you can even, next time you find yourself out like this, allow that back leg to start to sweep a little bit from this position. Just sweep a little bit. And you can even allow that sweep to come from the front body. Explore this space now. You can allow the knee to bend a little bit back there. We're just exploring the space of the right pelvis. Feels like we're doing all the work in the left, but all the pivot is happening on the right. Feel that? So it's weighted. We are using this functionally. And then come on back up into that seated position. Let's extend our legs wide this time. Bring the toes back towards you. Bounce the knees a little bit. Find the place find the place where you feel like you're upright here. This is a totally different position in our body. Right? This is neutral legs, more or less. This is neither an internal nor external rotation. When we're sitting sideways, we have an internal and an external rotation happening in the opposite legs. And just feel the sits bones now. We should, not should, but feel the sits bones. Allow your body to undulate a little bit so that you can find the center of the sits bones, and just take a moment here. Try to relax your heels down, allow your legs to relax. Feel the back of your legs on the floor. Find a relaxed position somewhere here. Once again, trying to find the length from the center of the chest to the tail through relaxing. Letting your breath lift the chest. Letting the breath allow the pelvis to become heavier. So now let's swing the left leg in front, the right leg behind. Let's just begin to take a walk out or a slide out one direction to over the knee and back. This is a test slide. We can even just test sliding the back leg back without moving the arms too. And then we can start exploring this space. Which is really a nice space to explore. Bring your full awareness on how you're making contact with the floor, especially in your left leg. Are you allowing the weight to be distributed from the knee all the way back to the hip joint, maybe even all the way down to the outer edge of the left foot? You feel the right knee, the whole inner edge of the right leg, inner edge of the right foot pressing backwards. And there's other things you can do with this also. Right? We can press from the heel back. That's a different sensation than if we pull the toes back. It's a totally different world. Right? So press the heel back, feel how that feels, and then point the toes back and feel how that's a totally different engagement of the body. And usually we're somewhere in between. Explore that space. There's so much space in the human body to explore with any kind of movement. And it really does add an extra. They've got these furniture movers that I have. They're kind of you put furniture on them and you can slide them across carpet. Well, you can get those for your hands, and when you do this stuff, it's a whole different experience because you're really trying to hold yourself back from sliding out, and it brings a totally different way of learning how to use your body. Why don't we just roll onto our backs from wherever we are? Just allow ourselves to roll onto the back. Take a few moments before we take this a little bit further. feel the back of your head, feel the back of your heels. Noticing the difference between the left side, the right side, length of your left leg, left of your right leg. Might be a totally different experience for you lying on the floor now than it was 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago. So let's slowly begin to roll onto our hands and knees now. And this can be a whole practice in itself right here. Just coming to hands and knees. Where do you want to be when you're on your hands and knees? Where can we bring the weight? How can we bring the weight more towards the back than towards the front without, we don't want to be here, of course. Still want to be up, because what we want to be able to do is maybe slide a foot back. Just slide one. I'm picking the right, just slide it back, and I've got the top of my foot on the floor. Slide, bring it back. Maybe even bring it a little bit forward, keeping the foot on the floor all the way to my chest. And then slowly, 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 slowly moving back. Keeping the leg on the floor as long as you can, but the top of the foot stays on the floor. And I'm looking off to my side. I would suggest that you look in a way that it feels like the crown of your head and your tail make a continuous line up the spine, rather than something like this. And then go ahead and stop with that leg. Just sit down for a moment. Take any weight off your hands. Just go ahead and shake out your wrist a little bit. And it's just something I like to do every once in a while, is just pull my palms back. Not a lot, just to open up a little bit, open up the whole apparatus here, right? So it's the whole arm, not just the wrist. I want to open the whole thing up. Same thing on the other side. I only have to do this once. All the way down. So we're opening that up, that whole line. Wrist. I used to never, when I taught regular asana, wrists were a big thing for me. They always did a lot of wrist stuff. Let's go back onto our hands and knees, and we're going to come to the other side now. We'll try that same movement on the left. Once again, allow your knees to separate a little bit, and we can change this movement up also. We don't want to just keep doing the same movement. You can turn your hands out, one hand in. You can do all kinds of things with the hands. You can come up on your fist. You can come down onto your elbows. You can do all of this with this same movement, and it changes completely what we're doing. So we'll just stay here for now. Slide the left foot back. Just noticing how different this is from the other side. Slowly, slowly, finding the length. Reaching back. How am I making contact with my left leg? Slowly drawing it in. Whole leg is on the ground now. Gently towards my chest, slowly back. Now I tend to come a little bit too far forward on this. I'm not using my legs as much as my shoulders. So try to be aware of where you're carrying the weight in your body. See how much of the top of the foot you can actually get on the floor. Feel each of the toenails. Let's go ahead. Take a little break and feel the difference. You can lie on your back. You can come into a child's pose. Child's pose isn't a bad thing when we're doing a practice like this. Start to feel into those hips now. You might feel a little bit more open, a little bit more free. You might notice one side's a lot more different than the other than you noticed before. The asymmetries in our body are just amazing. Right? It's easy to see as a yoga teacher and people what they're doing, how asymmetric, but you don't believe you're that way until you can feel it. No, I'm perfect. So let's let's come on back. And now we're going to take this the opposite way. Let me come on the right side because we're doing the right. So now, tuck the right toe under. Right, the right toes are under. So now, press back through the heel with the toes under. And then slide them back. Now I'm just bringing the toes are going from the top side to the bottom side. Not the top of the foot. So I'm just on the back of the toes here. It's a different sensation. And when you slide back, you go to the bottom of the toes. Our toes are really kind of designed to be curling around like this. Just a few times. And then why don't we just switch over to the other side, to the left side on this. Slowly back on the toes. And then toes under. Now if you have one of those sliding things, I just have too much friction, you could stay on the bottom of the toes the whole time. But it's not going to work for me. I have too much friction here. If you don't have much friction, you can stay, and it really is a great experience to stay on the bottom of your toes as you're bringing forward. Keep your awareness on how you're balancing your weight. How much weight are you bearing on that left leg? Change the amount of weight that you bear on the left leg as it's sliding. Can you make it heavier? Can you make it lighter? Alright, got a few more variations on these. As usual, I never have enough time in a yoga class. Let's go ahead and take a little break. We really want to feel the movement first. We want to do a few more variations on this. But we're going to do it from a seated pose. I guess we started on the right side now. So now we're going to bring our body over the right side. And then we're going to start to press the left leg back. And we're going to turn our torso to look at that left foot as it comes back. As we bring it up. So we're kind of just bending at the knee here. It's a little bit of extension from here, but mainly it's a bending at the knee. And then back. I'm sorry, as we extend the leg, you can even allow the leg to lift, and pressing from the toe and pressing from the heel is a different experience here. Okay. And back. And now just try a few the other way. Press the leg away, and just turn your head to the right. Shoulders a little bit if you can, but not forcing this at all. Right, we're using oppositional forces. We're moving against our body like this, just for the sensation of feeling how that feels, not to enforce it. Okay, so let's just go right to this. So next time you find your left leg long behind you, see if you can tuck the toes under and lift the knee. And if you have to be out to the side to do that, or over this way more, that's fine. And lift the knee, drop the knee down, and release the knee back. Now, tuck the toes, press the heel away, feel the knee lift. Can you feel that? This is a wonderful opening. And it's not that we're trying to force it with one time, we're just bringing a little bit of awareness into there. And over time, this will open up for us. So why don't we just find a place where we can lay over that right leg and take a little break. And if we have to roll off that leg, that's fine. We're looking for comfort here. We're looking for sensation. So I've kind of turned it into a little yin-y thing here, but you don't have to. You can roll all the way onto your side or onto your back or any place where you can just bathe in the sensations of your body without being distracted by discomfort. And then let's slowly begin to extend that left leg long and behind us as we sweep our torso over our right knee back into the seated position. Not using your arms, right? You don't have to use your arms for something like this, right? This is something we can just do without arms, right? Slow and easy. If you're doing it fast, right? Slow. Anywhere you are, you can just come back. So, switch to the other side any way that's comfortable for you. We're going to do this same kind of thing over here, but this time let's come onto our elbows. Okay, we could come to the elbows on the other side, and you don't have to do the same thing on both sides. The other side learns from what you're doing here. Slowly, once again, just kind of extend that leg out, stretch it out a little bit, just a little bit to start off with. Why don't we come up on our hands and just feel the difference on this side. Stretch it out. Bring it in. Come down to your elbows. Same thing. Allow, as you're pressing the leg back, allow that force of pressing the leg back, the energy to come up your spine and your head goes forward. So pressing the leg back extends the spine and your head comes forward. So you're kind of rolling onto the left hip a little bit differently. And then you can begin to turn your body towards that foot as it extends backwards. Turn your head. This is totally different when you're fixing your lower arms. You've lost any mobility in the wrist or the elbows for your body to move like this. It's a totally different sensation. And then allow yourself to turn the other way. Just a little bit. Maybe it's just your head. Maybe it's just your eyes that are turning to the left as you extend your right leg back. Allowing your head to come away from your feet gives you space to twist into here. However that feels in your body. And then go ahead and give it a break here for a moment, and then we'll tuck the toes under on this side. And once again, if this is not comfortable for you to lie in a position like this, this is really a modified pigeon. This is how I suggest people kind of do a pigeon. It's more or less this kind of, it's the stag pose, and you just lay over this way, is what it is. And this is a much better hip opener than pigeon. Because you're actually supporting your hip joint with the floor. In a normal pigeon, it's just floating out there, and who knows what's happening. And let's slowly come back up on our elbows. We can come onto our hands. We can bring the hands out to the side. Once again, there's all kinds of things we can do in the upper body with this same movement. But for now, let's just try this just for the now tuck your toes under on the right side. This is a totally different experience. This side hardly works for me at all. And then come back. Press the toes away underneath. And draw them back. Notice where you're carrying the weight in your body. See if you can feel how energy of the movement of the foot and the leg through to the rest of the body. You can begin to turn towards the foot as it extends back or away from the foot, the opposite direction. I guess you're still looking towards the foot, you're just not going to get there one way. Breathe. Breathe fully. Allow your torso to expand and contract with each movement. Fully. So sometimes we just shorten our breath, or just we're so attached to getting that movement right that we don't breathe. And the breathing is the only thing that's important. The rest of the movement isn't. You could imagine every movement your body can make and breathe to that movement. You'd never have to do any of this stuff. It would all happen with the breath. Alright, so next time you find yourself to that place, just roll on to your back. Roll onto your back for a little moment of awareness, full body awareness. Just notice how you chose to lie, how that feels, where your weight is distributed in your body, how the floor is holding you. Your emotional state. I'm not trying to change any of this, just checking in, just observing. Trying to break out of that zombie, that living dead kind of mentality. That we're not really alive, we're just meat robots walking around. And robots don't even have any power of self-observation or reflection. That's what makes us human. Slowly start to roll, and let's come on back up to a seated position, whatever's comfortable for us. And then come on to hands and knees. We're just going to make one more gentle type of movement towards pigeon pose. So we'll start with the right side. Bring the right knee up towards the right ankle and just set it down. Tuck the left foot under and press the left heel back. And then allow your pelvis to come down towards your heel. Now I bring my heel right into the crux on my left groin area. Now that might not be, that's pretty far down there. And then release. Just release down here. Bring the top of the left foot on and extend from here. Press into the top of the foot and lengthen through the crown of the head. And then release that. Tuck the left toes under once again. Press the heel back to lift the leg, extending through the crown of the head. Drop the knee, drop the top of the foot, press the top of the foot in. If the knee rises, allow it. Find the length from the toes to the crown of the head. And then if you can, begin to walk your hands forward just a little bit. Stay up on your elbows. Tuck that left foot under again. Press the heel back. Find the length through the crown of the head. Drop the knee. Top of the foot onto the floor. Press into the top of the foot. Find the length. And then once again, tuck the toes under on the left foot. Press the left heel back. Now, any modifications that you need not to feel discomfort, and the last time on the top of the foot. And I kind of like to roll around on the heel of my right foot. I like to really get into the hip flexors there. And I don't really like to roll on things all that much, but my heel, it just feels, it's like it's designed to be there for me. My heel right into this, both sides. So go ahead and extend the leg back and just come into just a little back bend. I might call this Sphinx pose and yin. And then begin to bring your left knee up towards your left elbow. And then maybe you can even come up onto your hands and find that same kind of a organization in your body. That, see, my heel's over here. Now that might not be right for you. You might want your heel back under the left sits bone. So my heel, I can bring it back over here under the sits bone or under the groin area. So now we'll tuck the right toes under, press the right heel away. Find the length through the right side of your body, out the crown of your head. How are you making contact with the floor with your hands, your feet, your leg? Go ahead and release. Come to the top of the right foot. Press the top of the right foot into the floor. Find the length. Allow that pressing down from the foot to lengthen the entire body. Relax. Tuck the right toes under. Press the right heel away. Oh, we're getting some dramatic light effects here. Top of the foot back down. Find that extension. It's not really about lifting as much as the extension. And then come on down onto the elbows. Just find a comfortable place here. Once again, tuck the toes. Press the heel away. You can really feel the head want to come forward in a position like this. Probably more so than with the hands down. Release the knee. Top of the right foot to the floor. Press the top of the right foot down. See if you can feel your pinky toe. See if you're favoring one part of the foot or the other as you're pressing down. Release, knee to the floor. Tuck the toe one more time. Press the heel away. Release. Top of the foot. And you're welcome to relax here for a moment if you like. Try to find what a pigeon pose might look for you now. Sometimes I like to, when I do a class like this, I like to have people try the pose first and then do the class and then try the pose at the end. But pigeon pose, I don't want people doing when they're cold. I don't want even people trying it. So you come onto your back. We're at 7:30. Take a little shavasana here. We'll play a little exit something or other. All right, let's see. Let's do Somatic. Scott.